Welcome back to Tadowski's Shelter, everyone. Today we are going to follow up last week's video about the blue skill tree by talking about the green skill tree in the Doomsday event. Now, people might be wondering, why am I doing an individual video for each skill tree? One, I didn't want a super long video. Two, there is a lot of information in each skill tree, and I feel that people, when they make videos, either it's way too long or it's way too short. There is a lot of information in each step of the way. You might be missing out on some really good benefits, and to go through and explain what each thing is might help you understand where it can be applied. And if it cannot be currently applied, it might be applied later on. Remember, like the video if you like the video, subscribe for more content. Let's get right into it. So if we go back to the specialty menu in the Doomsday event, and we go to the green skill tree, which is going to be the far left one, what you're going to notice is that there's a big circle, and it looks like pretty much a peace sign. You got one up, one left, and one right. But the green skill tree is primarily going to focus on bonus honor and bonus experience. That's the primary focus. Let's talk about the green skill tree. The first one I want to talk about is green left. If you've watched videos or you've done a little bit of research or looked into it, you'll know that green left is going to relate mostly to extra honor points for upgrading a structure. Now, people will pretty much just say go green left, stay to the center, and they'll talk about these two big skills right here, and that's really about it. No one will talk about anything else. So yes, green left is probably one of the most beneficial directions you can go in this skill tree. Green left deals solely with upgrading your honor structures. If you click the first point, you're going to see that you get a plus 3% honor gain after building or upgrading structures. That can be upgraded a max of 3 times to 9%, and this middle path continues that throughout the entire line. Always gives you a max of 9% honor gain. So that's why it's very beneficial, because as you know, production facilities, assault, and guardian fortresses all give you a lot of honor when you upgrade them, especially in the higher levels. So when you look at this line, you're talking 36% increase every time. And that is a lot, especially when you get into season 2 and you see that your honor gap between levels is massive. When you start looking at how you can get extra honor, and every extra point that you can get is extremely beneficial in order to reach your max level for the 3rd season. As you know, seasons get harder as they go along, but how you use this is up to you and your gameplay style. Continuing with talking about green left, if you were to diverge off the center path, the top path is going to reduce the resource requirement for upgrading honor structures up to 9%. Now, this is not talking about composite materials or antibody samples. This is solely fuel, steel, lumber, food, not the composite materials or antibody samples. And that trend continues through the path. But if you go to the down path, you're going to be talking about actually reducing the requirement for composite material to upgrade honor structures. Now, this is only going to apply to production facilities, assault, and guardian fortresses, and this trend continues on this path. So if you decide you need to upgrade buildings faster, you can't produce enough composite material, that might be a beneficial path for you. If you're someone who's always struggling with resources regularly, the up path may benefit you. However, most people will fall under this, hey, let's just go down the center. Now, the reason this left path is way more beneficial than people realize is going to be, once again, the skill points here, the major big circles. The first one is called civil engineering, and it says, after usage, construction honor gains increased by 50% for 2 hours with an 8-hour cooldown. However, your maximum level will increase it by 100%. What does this mean? Basically, it's a cause ticket. You can use this to boost for 2 hours your honor gains from upgrading a structure. You have to go through these paths to get there. So you're already getting a minimum of 27% just to get here. Then you're going to add another 100% on top of that. And if you use a Doomsday specialty ticket that boosts your honor gain, you're going to boost that even more. So it's a quick chance to get massive honor point gains really quick for upgrading buildings that you were already going to upgrade. But that's not all, because if you get to this last skill here, it's called the Honor Award. Now, basically, all this means is that once a day, you can use this skill and get a massive amount of honor points based on what current level your buildings are at. I haven't done the math to figure out what percentage of it is, but it is a lot. And you can do this once a day. There is no end to that. So once you get to here every day, tons of honor points. Then if you upgrade a structure, you get all the extra bonuses. Plus you use the skill, plus you use a ticket. You're talking about a lot of honor points for really not that much work. And that is why people talk about this path the most, because at the end of the season, you still have a Doomsday lab. In between seasons, you still have your Doomsday lab. And if you click on your Doomsday lab in between seasons, you can still click this skill. Now, you may not have any honor structures, but the honor award goes off of what it remembers. So while you're in between seasons, not doing Doomsday, you can still claim honor points until the devs decide to fix this. So every day between seasons, you can claim this once a day and boost your honor score to give you an extra boost in between seasons. So you might be starting next season 7 level higher than you normally would. The next probably most common talked about skill path on the green skill tree is going to be to the right. Now, the right path is going to talk about territory battle honor gain. So just like the left path, you're going to get massive boosts to your honor every time you take a tile. Now, tiling honor is definitely not as big as leveling up a structure. However, you are probably going to tile way more than you're going to level up. So this is also an extremely beneficial path, especially if you're a person who likes to tile or constantly drops and retakes tiles, or if you heavily participate in battles and you're a tiler in your alliance and you start making paths for your team. This will be huge for you because once again, you will get a total of 27% extra honor gain every time you take one tile if you fill this out. If you continue on this path, the next one is also another 9%, so you can get a max of 36% honor gain every time you take one tile. Now, this back half we'll talk about in a second, but let's finish up on this path. If you needed to diverge, this path also has some useful extra bonuses if you were to go up or down. If you go up, it increases your marching speed towards honor structures. Now, this is primarily going to be useful in battles. If you are further away from a base, you will increase your marching speed a total of 15% each dot. You have a total of 3 dots that you can get. That will be an extra 45% to your marching speed whenever you go to attack a structure. Now, if you look at the down path, you're going to do the same thing, only it's going to be for tiles. So if, once again, you're a tiler and you think your APCs are not that fast, this path may heavily benefit you because you could be further away and zoom towards that territory that you want to take so that you can move further and faster for your alliance to win the battle. So this down path can be very, very beneficial for tiling. This top path can be very, very beneficial for people who attack structures for your alliance that are your powerhouses. That is probably going to be an extremely beneficial thing, so they don't always have to get so close. But the main takeaway here is this middle path that's going to give you extra honor gain for tiling. Now, keep in mind, once you reach your max level for the season, if you do that early, there's really no benefit to getting extra honor points. And now you can start looking at these other paths and seeing what works for you. If you're at the end of the season and you still have another 15, 20 days, you don't have to stay on the center path. You can use a reset and put everything in marching speed. You can go to the red path and start looking at battle stuff. You can build your extra structures if you didn't already do that. You can add the durability or destruction power to your buildings so that your buildings are stronger for your team in battles. Once you hit your max level, the whole specialty game opens up for you, and you want to start looking at these extra options at what you can do. There are some skills here on this path. Now, these skills are not as great as the left path, and I think that's why so many people focus on this left path over the right path, because these skills are not as great to people in Season 1 and Season 2. These may apply further along in Season 3, Winter's Coming, Eden, etc., but in Season 1 and Season 2, these skills are not really useful, in my opinion. If you have a different opinion, you have a different knowledge of how you would use these, by all means, go ahead and leave that in the comment. But in my experience and in my opinion, these skills here are not as beneficial to people in Season 1 and Season 2. There are always exceptions to the rule, but we will talk about them because you should know what they are. So the first main skill on the right path is going to be called Land Reclamation. Now, Land Reclamation, it says you're going to exploit territories. You're going to increase production of up to 7 territories within a 3-kilometer range. And max level is going to be 12 territories. This is going to increase 15%. This skill sounds good. However, in the beginning seasons, you don't get that much. When you actually go to apply it, you're only talking about a few hundred resources, which is not that great. You normally pull in more resources per hour than you would with this. Not to mention, in order to use this, you have to use an APC and you have to use a special durability that APCs can use. But there is a special durability for APCs, and it says usually it's in the top left corner, and there's a little white symbol and it says 1,000 on a daily basis. Every day you get 1,000 of this special combat durability. Now, that means whatever skill that you send an APC out for that's special takes away from this special durability. You only get 1,000 per day. So that means some of these skills, when you apply them, will take a certain amount of durability from that number. So you can only do a certain amount of skills a certain amount of times per day. On top of that special durability, it will take your APC's normal durability, and it will take some time in order to use this skill. So basically what this all boils down to is this. In order to use this skill, you will get an extra couple hundred, maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000 extra resources of whatever resources are in that area. But it will probably take you an hour. You will use a lot of durability from your APC normally. You will also use your special durability that can be used on other skills, and you're really not gaining much. So in Season 1, Season 2, this is not really a great skill to have, but as I said, there's always exceptions to the rule, and you might find a use for it. I'm not saying that this is a worthless skill, but it's not something that I would focus too much on in Season 1 and Season 2. Moving along this path, these next two are somewhat beneficial. Now, they may not apply so much in Season 1 and Season 2, but I know for a fact they will apply later on, and there's a reason for it. First off, these two skills are both land development. The difference is the level tile that you can actually quote unquote develop. What am I talking about? Let's talk about the first one. The first one states, you may take some time to upgrade territories below level 5 by 1 level. This shall not exceed the highest level of territories that you have. What does that mean? If I own a level 2 tile, but I am tiling on level 10 tiles, anything below level 5, I can increase 1 level. Now, granted, this cuts you off at level 5, so I can only upgrade the level 2 tile to a level 5 tile, even though I own a level 10 tile. So yes, I can't go from level 2 to level 10 on this skill alone. I'd have to open up the next one, which states that anything below level 13. If you go to the max level, you can do anything below level 16. There's 5 upgrades to each one of these skills. So yeah, once you hit the max level here, you can upgrade your level 10 tile all the way up to 16 if you so choose. Now that is extremely beneficial for those of you who are in states where it's hard to get tiles, or even if you are not branched out into other states and able to take tiles in other states. You can do the same thing to your out-of-state tiles. You can maximize whatever tile you have to whatever tile you want. However, it still takes durability, it still takes time, and it still takes out of that special durability that your APCs have. Plus, you could lose that tile. Someone can take it from you. But this is a pretty good skill to have, especially in the situations that I stated. Now, these outside paths here, these do change a little bit of the game. These skills will relate primarily to these two skills. Basically, it says when developing level 1 through 4 territories, your combat command cost, which is that special durability that I talked about, it will be reduced by 30%. And if you max it out, it will reduce it by 70%. Same thing here. If you're developing 5 through 8, it will reduce it 20 to 50%. And this one will be 9 through 12. It'll lower it 20 to 50%. If you go down, when developing level 1 through 4, it will decrease the time it takes to develop that tile. It does take some time. Reducing the amount of time, like let's say it takes 2 hours to upgrade a tile 1 level, reducing it by half is big. These will all relate to these skills and they can benefit you greatly depending on your situation. Doesn't mean you're always going to have to go through this tree. Doesn't mean you're always going to want to get these skills, but there may be a situation that you go, man, I wish I could do this. And here you are. You're able to do that. You can turn your level 14 tiles into level 16 tiles if you so choose and have all level 16 tiles without having to hunt tiles down, path to them, hopefully get them, and waste all that durability. The last path we'll talk about here, before we talk about this outer circle, is going to be the up path. Now, up is a little bit different. You're not going to get any honor gains. Experience gain refers to your heroes. So the up path is primarily going to focus on giving your heroes experience every time you tile. This trend continues throughout this entire center path. Your heroes will get extra experience every time they take a tile. But that's not the only thing about this up path that might be worthwhile to you. If you look to the left, this is called agricultural technology. Basically, the left path here is going to give you bonus crops and lumber from your tiles. If you own farms or lumber tiles, you will get extra resources just by having them. And the right path is going to do the same thing, except it's going to be geared towards ore and fossil fuel. Now, this will give you a max of 6, and this trend will continue the entire left path, even past this middle skill, and the same thing for the right. So you can get a total of an extra 18% whatever resource you want. That can be extremely useful, but let's talk about these middle skills here. The first one is going to be training. Now, in season 1 and season 2, this may not be as beneficial. Even this whole middle path may not be beneficial to most people, but this skill here called training differs from the normal special training that you may see. Special training is something you can do at any given time. And basically you can send a APC to a tile that you own, and it will give you X amount of honor and X amount of experience. And it will just do it in one go. You have normal training and you have super training. Now, super training is with the dog tags. These can be obtained in various methods. The difference is with special training, you may lose some troops. It's like attacking a tile normally. You're basically attacking your own tile for extra experience and honor. There's nothing special. You don't gain anything extra. You do get a little bit of honor. Yeah. You do get experience for your heroes. Yeah. But you can come back and you could have troops go to the research facility and need to get healed. Training, on the other hand, the skill that we were talking about in the green skill tree, gives you no losses. And it says you gain massive hero experience, but from what I've noticed, it's not much different than what you normally see, which sounds great. No losses, you get the training, you get the experience, you get the honor. What they don't tell you here is that each training costs 10 minutes. So if you were to use 30 durability to get that experience and honor points, it will take 30 minutes. Plus, it will use 30 durability. Plus, this also takes from your combat durability, your combat command cost, that special durability that your APCs have. Each Level up will reduce it, so you can, by a minute, so you can do only 5 minutes for every time you send them out. So if you use 30 durability, it's 15 minutes instead of 30 minutes. But at the end of the day, you're still taking up an APC for an amount of time for the same benefit as sending a troop to a tile and come back with some losses. That doesn't mean that there isn't a time and a place for it. So keep that in mind. If you have level 16 tiles, you get a new hero from the new season and you want to upgrade them quick, but you know that they're low level and they can't take the normal level tiles that you're at, you can use this and therefore get a ton of experience from training on a level 16 tile and getting that major bonus and not have any losses. And you can guarantee that you're going to get that extra bonus. Once again, time and a place for everything. Every situation is different and it all depends on what your overall goal is. Once you get about halfway through the season, everyone's advice kind of goes out the window because everything is now individual to you and your play style and what you are capable of and what you're good at doing. So don't let anyone sit here and dictate this is what you need to do once you get past probably the halfway point of the Doomsday season. Everything has a time and a place. It's just whether or not it applies to you. The last major skill here on this path is called Resource Seller. Now, basically what this states is that when your base is attacked, 100% of your resources will be protected from being stolen for 20 minutes. This has a 24-hour cooldown. Now, the max level here, it will last for an hour. Now, this is drastically beneficial for a lot of people, especially later on in the seasons. In season 1 and season 2, this can apply on the 1 day a week where anyone can attack anything, but this is definitely going to come into play season 3 and Eden and so on and so forth. Season 1 and season 2, this may not be as beneficial. This doesn't really apply too much to people. Now, this has changed in season 2 once you introduce the destroyer missile that the Guardian can fire. When the Guardian goes to fire the destroyer missile, he is opening himself up to getting attacked normally by the other alliance. You have to have him survive for the amount of time so that your missile can land and do the damage that it needs to do. That is where this kind of starts coming into play, because the Guardian may want to have that if they know that, hey, I'm going to shoot this missile and there's a chance that I could be attacked and destroyed. I don't know if I want to lose all my resources. You are opening yourself up to being attacked. So having this and having yourself protected, having that insurance plan is beneficial to the Guardian. So first off, once you get to the end of a path, you will have a decision to make. You can go up, you can go down, or you can just go to a whole nother path. Why would I go up or down? Well, let's talk about what these points are. So each one of these points, the first 3 points, either up or down until you get to the main skill, is going to relate to that path. So basically what we're saying here is if you were to go green left and then go up or down, you're going to get extra % honor gain to leveling up a building. Whether you go down or you go up, you're going to get extra percentage of honor gain. Now we said 36% just by going that left path. Well, guess what? We just increased it 27% and another 27%, which is 54%. So 91%. You just increased every level of your honor structure, all the honor points, by 91%. Plus, you got this skill that increases it by 100%. Plus, you have a Doomsday ticket that increases it. Plus, you have this once a day honor award. So you want to talk about making a lot of honor points all at once? This is where you're going to be looking. But it doesn't just end there, because that trend, that relation to that pathway, goes all around the circle. So if you were to go up and then to the left or right, these first 3 dots here are all going to relate to experience gain. And the same thing with the right path. If you go up or down, once you hit that last skill here, you will get extra honor for territory battles or tiling. So an extra 27% here and another 27% here. So you're talking about 91% every time you take a tile. And that's huge. That could be huge for some people. That could be massive game changers and put you quicker to level 80, especially when you start talking about the difference between how many honor points it takes to get to the next level. And these middle skills here on the circle that separate the 3 and the 3, this basically is just extra territories. You are able to get extra territories so you can tile more. So this green skill tree is fairly beneficial. There's one more benefit here that people may overlook. If you were to go along the outer circle, you can get to this skill without having to go down this path. Now, keep in mind, it is less specialty points to go straight down the path to get to this skill, but you won't get the extra 5 territories and you won't get the experience that comes with going around the circle. So it's up to you how you want to do it, but you may not want any of these skills here. Like, I want to protect my resources during a battle, but I don't really care about this training. I don't really care about this experience bonus from my heroes. I don't care about the extra resources. So I don't want to go this path because this doesn't benefit me. But the extra honor gain from leveling up, the extra 5 tiles, and sure, why not? The extra experience here that comes with it. Sure, I'll take that, just so I can get here. You can go along the outside and get this last skill without having to go through all of this. So you're going to spend more specialty points to go around the circle, but you're also going to bypass any of these skills that you might not find worthwhile. And you might find this extra honor gain way more beneficial. So how you play it is completely up to you. This is how your playstyle is. I will have a video talking about different things, different tactics that you can do depending on your playstyle. I know in that video, most of the beginning for season 1 and most of the beginning for season 2 is probably going to sound the same. It's going to sound the same as everyone else's. However, I will talk about the switch when you should kind of start looking at maybe either using a reset if you have one, or if you're a free player and you don't want to use any resets, you don't want to buy them. We could talk about different ways that you can place your specialty points in different areas so that you can kind of get the benefit of everything while still progressing forward. That video will come out, and I feel like that's going to be a longer one because there's so many different play styles. There's so many different ways you can do this, and you have to decide for yourself what works for you. That's the green specialty tree. I hope it kind of explains it clearly. I hope you understand it a little bit better. Hopefully that has it. If you have any further questions about this green skill tree, if you're not sure, if I didn't explain something very well, go ahead and leave that in the comments. Ask a question. I'll try and clarify it as best as possible. But I feel like this one is straightforward and confusing all at the same time because of these extra skills. The next video, we'll talk about the red skill tree, which is going to be a lot more advanced. There is a lot going on in this red skill tree. This really doesn't apply much to season 1, season 2, but situations where it can, and we could talk about that. But for the most part, most people won't look at this till at least maybe the end of season 2, season 3. If you have another topic you want to talk about, go ahead and leave it in the comments. If you liked the video, if you found it useful, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe for more. And like I said, we're looking out for each other. We're trying to give as much information to each other as possible and helping each other. There's no one answer. I don't know everything. No one knows everything except for probably the developers. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, till next time, be safe out there.